Hello, and welcome back to Confident and Visible Empath 3. We are here today with Jonita D'souza. Let me read a little bit about Jonita, and then we'll go into sharing a little bit more and getting into the interview. Jonita was born in India, settled in England, and is a self-leadership mentor for women, a feminine lifestylist and creatress of feminine empress codes, assisting modern-day busy women who struggle with burnout, body love, and authentic expression to reconnect with their feminine and sensual energy using the ancient feminine Taoist, Tantric, somatic arts so that they can create a lifestyle that is fulfilling, nurturing, and pleasurable. Jonita is also certified life coach, NLP practitioner, master hypnotherapist, and combines the teachings of Indian feminine mysticism and shamanism in her work, facilitating monthly moon circles, online workshops, and sacred feminine retreats. Welcome, Jonita. It's great to have you.
It's my pleasure. I'm so excited to co-create this space with you.
Thank you. Thank you. As I'm reading your bio, it just brings up this question of you have a lot of different modalities. Did you take a lot of time to explore those? And did that become an obstacle for you actually getting out there?
The exploration part was not really connected with the expression part, I would say,
Okay.
to begin
Yeah.
with. It was never meant to be expressed in the way it is, at least then when I started, because all of those modalities that I teach now was for me to experience, to get me out of that state of utter confusion, and I would say long period of depression. I did not know how to deal with grief, the loss of my father at a very young age, and dealing with health issues. That led me to inquire and look for different modalities just to understand what it really means to be a woman in her early 20s, and how is she going to find her place, because there was not much fulfillment on the inside. And so that's where the exploration started. The expression of it is something that was just organically, so I never meant to be this teacher. I was an IT engineer, by the way.
You were an engineer.
Yes, I was an IT engineer, like most of the Indians, I must say. I If I can give you a little bit of background.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I grew up in India, and I was very honored to come from a privileged family and very educated family of doctors and teachers and engineers. And they always instilled this fact in me as a young girl that you've got to make a lot of money in order to be independent woman.
Okay.
And I'm talking 80s and 90s. And so by
Were they
default,
were they were they raising you to be an independent woman and not just to be married off? Because I know the traditional
yes.
way is to set you up for marriage. And yes.
Yeah, and that's why I consider myself to come from a privileged family, because that's what they were instilling in me since very young age. So I started studying really hard, thinking this is my way to make a lot of money. So I think most of my childhood, and I am a big time introvert. So education and books became my best friends, and I don't remember spending any time doing any other curricular activities, creative activities, or sports, or anything other than books. I was a bookworm nerd. I became an IT engineer at the age of 21 and got a job and started making a good salary for that age. And I realized that I don't feel independent. Here I am. I studied my whole life and I am not feeling independent. I have the money, but what am I supposed to do with this money? Because I don't even know how to express myself. I don't feel expressed in the work that I am in the boardrooms. Nobody took me seriously, anyways. So it was a kind of disappointment, I must say.
Yeah, the corporate world and having the money, but not having that inside.
Yeah, because I sincerely believe that if I make money, then I will be independent, and it will be an expression of who I am. I will be able to express who I am. However, when I got to that stage, I realized that I did not know how to express what I am. And what became really easy was to put up a facade that this is my character, and I became like a tomboyish person working among those men in the field, just to gel along, just to feel safe.
Then, and that's, I just wrote a blog today about confidence, and that I started with sharing where when I was in my 20s, expressing this confident person, being loud, the center of attention, like always, kind of overpowering with my voice and my build and my strength. And yet underneath, I was, this scared little boy and terrified what everybody was going to think, and would pretend I didn't care, etc., which was all this false confidence. And independence and confidence seem to be quite interweaved. So how did you break through that and actually start to discover that inner confidence, that deeper connection?
Yeah, one of the things I realized is that now I realize in the hindsight that people often confuse empaths with highly sensitive people. Both empaths and highly sensitive people have a low threshold for stimulation, and but what I have noticed is that highly sensitive people are typically introverts, whereas empaths can be introverts or extroverts, and they feel a lot.
Mhm.
So just recognizing the fact that I am an introvert, and I cannot put myself on, you know how they say, fake it till you make it kind of
Yeah,
confidence.
yeah, of course.
Of course I followed that, right? Of course I tried to do that, and it was so tiring. I was
Mm.
being somebody else, and I was constantly on validation, like people's validation. And even when people would validate me and say like, wow, you did well, oh, you look good, and when I would get compliments, I never felt like it was me for me, because I inside I knew that I was faking it till I make it, just to look confident in the outside.
Which breeds that imposter syndrome,
Exactly, exactly. And I must say that when I was 21 and I was going through this scenario, I had an opportunity to go to London. That's how I moved to West. And another thing that I always thought inside of me in my growing years as teenagers is that Western women are free.
Mm.
Western women are free, they are much more confident, they are much more expressive, they can wear whatever they want, they can walk safely in the streets. Wow, they are so privileged. They are, Western women are free. And to be really honest, my influence was only through MTV channels.
Of
That's
course.
all I need,
Yeah.
right? Growing up in this little town in India, so MTV was my influence. And when I got an opportunity to go to London, I was excited. I thought, okay, now maybe I will be able to taste that freedom, and then this confidence and this expression. So I got to London and I started working there. I made some girlfriends. We were working, the corporate job again on weekends when we would go out for drinks and the usual chit chat, the ladies gossip. I realized that, wow, they are not free.
Mm.
They are not confident. In fact, they are also faking it till they make it. And it made me realize that, wow, it's not about the East or the West. It's just that so many of us have found that it is all right to just fake it till you make it. It's okay. This is the way to go. And that confused the hell out of me. I was really disappointed because I didn't want to go back to home, to that environment in India. I didn't want to stay in London to this environment because it was draining my energy. And the more confused I was, I think the more I was going in a downward spiral. I received the news of my father's death, and then I went into a deep depression, health crisis, relationship falling apart, like everything fell apart in my world. And that's when I met a teacher by coincidence who started showing me more than what is on the outside and how I could cultivate that on the inside. And she emphasized that you've got to find your essence. And I did not know what my essence was. Like, what the hell was she talking about? What is essence, right? And
Yeah,
the more,
that's not a word in engineering, is it?
not at all. And it's not like a binary conclusion that I can come to, plus minus or one and zero, right? Like, give me some logic behind. I did not understand. But the more she was breaking down and teaching things, I realized that I need to come back to self-trust,
Mm.
not to confidence. And this started making a huge, huge difference for me, because I realized that self-trust is something that is always there, is always been there inside of us. And it's an internal journey of integration and harnessing this body's wisdom instead of leading from outside. And the more I was doing and preparing myself to honor the self trust and understand what it looks like for me, the easier it was for me to not be confident but show up without feeling the need to be right.
Okay. Okay. When you're sharing, as you're sharing this part, I'm hearing people out there say, I've done a lot of work. I've done a lot of the things that Jonita's done. I've done NLP, I've done hypnotherapy, and many other modalities and workshops, and I still am struggling, and I still lack this blend between self-trust and confidence. And I and when I think about being visible, I'm terrified.
Yeah.
What would you say to those who are in this place of they've done a lot of this work, but they still feel stuck or a little bit lost?
Um, I think stuck and confusion is a really good place. I've come to understand that. I used to judge myself when I was stuck and confused and feeling resistance and fear, until I reframed that when I'm in that state, it only means that I need support.
Mm.
And the more I started bringing this perspective, then I started looking for support, because oftentimes we need people outside of ourselves to mirror us what we are not able to see inside of us. And so anytime I felt stuck, I just knew that, okay, I need support. I need that mirror. And the more I have mirrors around me, the more I'm able to see myself in my light. And that became something that was not taught, growing up, that you cannot ask for support. You cannot ask for people to help you when you feel like this, when you feel your dark emotions. And also, like, when you do this spiritual work, you're supposed to only feel love and light and happiness, right? Like,
Right.
right. The more I was doing the spiritual work, I was noticing that the more I was feeling angry and resentful. And it made
Tell
me,
us why about that. Why was that happening?
yeah. So I thought when I go in this journey, I'll deal with my emotions and I'll feel lighter and happy and all of that. And that was happening, but it didn't last for long. What was coming along with it was a lot of anger and more confusion and a lot of sadness, because I could see all the patterns now and all the grief I was carrying and all the times that I did not express myself and all those new terminologies like the nice girl syndrome and like, I was like, oh my God, I'm a big mess. Like, what is this? And right. So and my teacher, she was very patient with me, and she said that when because she's primarily worked with women, and she said that when women begin to go into this journey of discovering her feminine essence, what she meets with is a lot of anger and frustration and sadness and resentment. And this is because a lot has been pent up throughout times, sometimes throughout generations. So if you're finding yourself feeling these emotions, then it doesn't mean that you're crazy and it's not working for you. It just means that now you're beginning to feel more. The
Mm.
things, the part inside of you that was numb for a really long time, so that you feel safe in the world. So that became my work, to really integrate the light as well as the dark qualities. And now, working with the dark feminine, I realized that my dark emotions have always led me to more of myself. So
Mm.
I'm not judging when I'm feeling like crap or when I'm having doubts. I'm just reframing them time to time, moment by moment. And that has helped me a lot. And in terms of visibility, to be really honest, there's nothing safe about visibility. There is nothing safe. I think we cannot ever feel safe in visibility. It's not the nature of it's not nature itself. Nature is not safe, right?
So being visible, there's vulnerability and visibility is what you're saying, right? And
Yeah.
and so how you're making yourself visible today with somebody we've officially just met. We've communicated, but we've just met. And then you're sharing yourself with a whole group of new people. So how when they're with that vulnerability there, and even that feeling or that sense of it's not completely safe, it's not a sanctuary that's guaranteed that everything's going to go your way and you're going to feel good at the end, how do you move forward in the midst of that?
I think it again brings back to the self-trust. I think just recognizing that there is there is going to be the polarity all the time, that you can never be enough. Like you can never get to a point where you will feel like I am enough now, because we are unlimited. There is this unlimited potentiality. You can never be enough. And on the other hand, you're always enough because you're this pure child of the divine. So like when you just break down those esoteric concepts into understanding and realizing that, okay, in this moment I am everything and nothing, then I don't have to put up a facade. Of course there'll be people who will not like you. Of course there'll be people who would be offended and criticize you. And this is the strength that we need to develop in increments. Everything, the growth happens in increments.
Mm.
So if I am talking here right now to you and I'm not scared, and I'm okay to express myself, it's only because I've been talking this whole thing for the last 8 years. Everything is incremental. So when we see someone very confident or like showing up in vulnerability, it's not like they just woke up and started doing it. Trust builds also in increments, right?
Yeah, sure. So I guess I'm part of me wants to keep drilling down into this thing. You're sharing the reality of duality in the world and how to thread that, or that thin line between, which is the unity. How does one move from this place of, okay, it's vulnerable, but yet it's safe. It's light and it's dark. And how coming from India, this is such a deep part of the philosophy there. How you know so many people are either we're all naturally intending to move towards what feels good, what the joy and the peace and the happiness, all of these things, and yet we're almost disowning part of ourselves in the process if we're just going for that. But these other feelings don't feel good. They're difficult, they're scary at times. It's dark, we're trained that dark is scary, right? So
Mhm.
how does one face those dark times in a place of acceptance, or even recognition that this too is beautiful, this too is part of God?
Yeah. So I work with classical tantra, which is very different from the Western tantra, neo tantra, which is focused on sexuality. The classical tantra is the unity of the light and the dark. It's a lot of shadow work and dark work involved in classical tantra. And um, and you said very well that dark is considered to be scary. When you look at a lot of ancient lineages, a lot of initiations happened in the dark. A lot of initiations, like the Egyptian pyramids, when you go to that tomb, it's in the dark. We were born out of the womb. Womb is a dark place. Um, in Yeshua's tradition, the darkness is called black light. And so instead of like we've been programmed to see darkness as bad and evil and ugly and scary. However, everything comes from the darkness.
Mm.
We come from darkness. Creation comes from the dark, the void. And we have been somehow programmed that when you feel dark, go numb yourself, because we don't want to feel the darkness, because this darkness is going to now reveal to us the truth. And the truth we always know, but we don't want to listen and respond, because we
Mm.
always know it's always speaking to us, but we don't want to make that choice. We don't want to make that decision. We don't want to shape course correct. So we just numb. So understanding that when you go through dark emotions is just a way of showing you your own repressed power. And that's how I see the dark feminine work. Ancient cultures, the dark goddesses were pretty much entities who would mirror your repressed power,
Mm.
places where you are repressing yourself, places where you have not accepted yourself. So the dark character, the dark feminine archetype pretty much brings that out in you. And
I love
when
that. I just want to highlight that one more time is what you're afraid of, or what those scary things are, or those shadow pieces that we're trying to avoid are actually our repressed power. There's so much beauty and amazingness in there, and we just have yet to discover it. I love that.
Yeah, and that's why I see shadow work different from the dark feminine work, because shadow work is highlighting your unhealthy traits, whereas the dark feminine work is highlighting the places where you have repressed yourself.
Mm.
And we very well know that. In fact, I don't even have to give examples, and people may just know like the ways we are not allowing ourselves or being in integrity with ourselves. So the
Mm.
dark feminine always shows that to us. And when we um, don't listen to this dark feminine, then our shadows come out in the world, right?
Yeah, well, that and I mean that's I've done many Anyastans with Chinnamasta and Kali, and they bring it up.
Pretty much.
No. There's no avoiding it there. But it's not all fun, and it's I I like to let people know that it's whether it's natural or not, it's normal. It's a normal response to want to feel the pleasure and not to feel the fear and the challenges and the obstacles. And yet those challenge and obstacles are where we actually end up having our greatest growth points, and our greatest realizations and recognitions are often in those places. Not only, but often.
Yeah.
So what would you, I'm thinking of a question that would, with the work that you do with women,
Mm.
what would you suggest to the feminine who are empaths and who are being challenged actually by the masculine framework of society? And what's that approach that you're encouraged by or inspired by that can support women and actually standing in their own in the power within them, and also being able to integrate into this masculine world?
Mm. Yeah, well, the patriarchy, right? I like to say that we are daughters of patriarchy. If you really think, we carry a lot of unconscious programming, sometimes conscious as well, of the patriarchy. And this is why, talking about the repression really comes handy, like looking into places where you are your own oppressor,
Mm.
and to begin from there, because it's nothing big. It's like the choices you make, the micro choices you make on a real daily basis, the health choices you make, the communication that you do, your life, the way you live life, the way you show up. There are a lot of nuances where you will see that you oppress your own self. And so the work really begins with, going into those nuances and really noticing. And for women, because we cycle, we go through those dark moments of our cycle every moon time, every 28 days. So this is like natural. This is so natural for us to go into our darkness. It's nothing wrong. You're not crazy, you're not a bitch, you're no, nothing is wrong with you. It's part of you being a woman, like cycling from the dark and the light. And so the more you understand, rather than seeing it as a condition that you cannot hold on to. Another thing I notice is that somehow we have we have come to this realization that we are very fragile beings.
Mm,
Like we empaths, and we're so sensitive, and since we're so fragile. However, our true nature is so resilient, and we are afraid to look at pain. We are not fragile beings, we are super resilient beings. Our heart, anahata, means something that can never be destroyed. That's
mm.
what anahata means. That's our true nature. And just believing that you are a fragile being, so traumatized by the world, somehow is not helping us, according to me. Whether you're an empath or not, you have more capacity to hold the pain and look at the pain and go through the pain than you can ever imagine.
Mm, that is beautiful. I love that. I don't think I knew the definition of anahata after all these years. I love that. Something that can never be destroyed. And that's truly the heart. That's that spiritual heart. Yeah, that unconditional love is never destroyed. Yeah.
Yeah. And our capacity to hold the pain and go through the pain, it is just there. It's just there. We are very strong, resilient beings. We're not fragile beings.
I love that. You are amazing. I love what you're sharing. And you, besides the gifts that you've shared with us so far, you're gonna be sharing a gift with the audience. It's called the Dark Feminine Listening Practice. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so this is particularly for women, and this is an audio guide. I think it's 14 minutes long audio guide where I take you on a journey to come back to your senses and listen to the voice of the dark feminine within you. And there are some journaling questions followed by that you can then come back to. And as I said, like go into the nuances of listening to your dark feminine.
And all you got to do is if you just hit that button below, you know this by now. All you have to do is push that button. That'll take you right to Jonita's gift. And also that'll connect them to you as well, correct?
Yes, that's true.
Okay, great. So you were open to guiding us through an experience. Are you open to do that? And can I handle it being a man?
Yeah, so I wanted to just share a breathwork practice, a
Okay,
movement breathwork
great.
practice, if that's okay.
Of course, of course.
Uh, I need to check my camera because you'll have to be able to see me. Let me explain about it first. So this comes from the Taoist lineage, and in Taoism, they consider three major energy centers of the body, which are also considered as the dantians or the elixir field. So in short, they concentrate on three energy centers of the body. The first one being the head, which is the center of our body, which comprises of our thinking realm, our mental realm, our purpose, our vision. The second is our heart center, the heart energy center, which is the center of feelings, emotions, perception. And then the third is our lower center, which is the sex center, which is below our navel, which is all about our digestion, our vitality, our power, our being. So these are the three elixir field that they consider if if energized and if they work together, then we are in a harmonious flow state. So my breath work is going to be just connecting these three states. And I like to do it lying down, but you can do it standing, you can do it sitting. I'm just going to show you a couple of flow of how you can do it. And you can use this breathwork practice for just gratitude or appreciation, or you can even send blessing to those centers of your body. It's up to you. So I like to sometimes do it as part of just connecting with these energy centers in my body on a regular basis. Okay, so let me fix my camera. So we just take our hands and rub them together for a few seconds. So we just energize our hands. pull them apart. Just notice the tingling sensations. Just feeling the aliveness in your hands. And then bring them to your heart center. Hold your heart. And this is the moment you can bring a gentle smile to your face as you're holding your heart center. You are noticing your heart breathing. And with a gentle smile, let's do some blessing here. Just feel into our heart center, this anahata, as we spoke about, something that can never be destroyed. Your capacity to love, forgive, compassion, feeling into this center of your body, your heart center. And if you want, you can say any blessing to your heart. Thank you. Thank you for holding me. Thank you for showing me love. Thank you for teaching me compassion. And now I invite you to take a deep breath in from the nose into your heart. And you're going to hold the breath in from the nose into the heart. And as you're holding your breath, I want you to make your hands into a downward triangle. And then sweep with an exhale to your womb center, your sacral chakra. And just holding this part of your body, this energy center, the place of your being, your sexuality, your passion, your desires. See if you can bring a gentle smile as you're holding this place in reverence, this sacred part of your body that helps you intuit, alchemize pain into pleasure, create life, create visions, birth. And now I invite you to take a breath into the womb through the nose. And this time, let the breath fall from your heart to the womb and hold it there. The sacral chakra. And now as you exhale, you scoop your hands to your third eye. So you bring your hands in an upward triangle and just connecting with this center of your body, your higher center, connection to the divine, your third eye, the bridge between the divine within and the divine above, around, the vision that you carry for life. Sending a big smile, taking a deep breath in from your nose. And as you exhale, now bring your hands back to the heart in prayer position. So that's one loop we've created from the heart to the womb, to the third eye, back to the heart. Let's do it one more time. Holding our heart. Just connecting with our heart center. Maybe you have some intention, some prayer, some gratitude, some blessing, whatever comes to you right now. A gentle smile to your face. Breathing in from the nose to your heart. And exhaling, downward triangle, sweep to your sacral center. Connecting with this part of your body. Breathing into your womb. Holding the breath, and now with an exhale, closing the loop to the third eye, upward triangle. Connecting with this part of your body, this energy center. Inhale. And with an exhale, closing the loop back to your heart and a namaste. So that's just a simple practice. I think you're muted. I think you're muted. Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Simple yet profound. I feel that cohesion of the centers, just like a balancing, just naturally coming in. That's great. I've never done that one. Thank you. I've done it differently with the three centers, but not that one.
Yeah, it's just closing the loop, and you can even lie down and do it at the end of the day, just connecting with these three centers and just closing the loop, going to bed. It's a good practice.
And the intention of that practice, when you say it's closing the loop, what does that mean?
We're just connecting the three centers in the harmonious state of flow.
Okay.
So that's what they do. So you connect the flow of your heart to your womb, to the third eye, back to the heart. So this is the flow of the yin channel, as they say, because backside is the flow of the yang channel. So it's a very restorative practice to connect these centers.
Jonita, thank you so much. How do people find you besides through the gift? Where can they find you best?
I am mostly on Facebook. I'm a little old school for Instagram. I feel just learning. I'm getting there, but I am available on Facebook by my name or Exploring Femininity.
So grateful for your time and for sharing. You are truly wonderful. Thank you.
It's such a pleasure. I'm so excited to see what comes out and the entire summit. Such a great lineup, I'm sure. I can't wait to participate.
And for all of you out there, thank you so much for being here. I hope you love this as much as I did, and we look forward to seeing you in the next session. Many blessings.